I asked the creator of this AEM7 if I could release any of my reskins of it, and unfortunately so far I haven't gotten a response. However, I do have one idea, and that is, why not simply create the locomotive from scratch? Create an actual New Jersey Transit Out 44 completely from scratch. The problem is I don't really know how to create trains on this game, but it's not impossible to learn, I guess, with a few tutorials. And while I'm at it, I might as well create other trains that should exist on this game but don't. For example, the Out 45 DP. And if possible, one thing I want to do for this locomotive is I want to make it so that it actually makes a different sound when the pantograph is raised and another one when it's lowered. I also, for the electric locomotives I create, I want to make them dependent on having the pantograph raised to actually get power, and have it so that a certain pantograph is raised based on the direction it's going. And I also want to give them, custom cabs that actually have working computers on them and cab signals and everything. I also want to create a custom cab for the Aero 3 train. I also want to create whole new New Jersey Transit car seats from scratch, which will include the Comet 5. The reason why I want to create them from scratch is because I want to add a lot of features that the ones we currently have don't have. I want to program them so that the doors know when the platform is a low-level platform or a high-level platform and can adjust to them. I also want to have it so that the interior lighting only comes on if either a diesel locomotive is attached to it or an electric locomotive with one of the pantographs raised. Of course, to do this, I would obviously have to learn how to script a locomotive, and I don't know how to do that yet either, but I can learn, of course, in the future with tutorials. I also want to make it so that these doors open at random intervals to indicate people crossing between the cars. And of course I want to install a destination sign that would actually tell the passengers what station is next and all that other stuff. And it would also have sounds so that you can actually hear the station announcements, and you'd be able to choose between an actual engineer telling the passengers what station is next, or that automated voice you sometimes hear in the trains. I also want to program one of these onto the inside of the train that actually tell you what the next station is. And the way I plan for them to work is you'll be putting a trigger on the track, and the trigger will have the name of the station the train is approaching. When the train hits that trigger, it'll read what's on it, and then it'll transfer that information onto the destination sign and say this stop, and then it'll display the name of the station. And then after it stops, when it starts moving again, it'll change and say next stop, and then the next station on the line, based on whatever line you program into it. And it'll have a list of lines you can program into the train, the same way you change the destinations on other trains on this game, and it'll pick from that line to know what station is next. I'll try to make the vestibules more flexible so they don't do this on a curve. I'll also try to make it so you can choose whether the lights inside the passenger car are on and off, because on some New Jersey Transit trains the lights in the first few cars might be off if they're just not using that car, like if there's not enough passengers in the train for them to require it. So for that, I'll have the option of making it so that the lights can turn off. They'll also turn off if they're decoupled from a locomotive, or if the pantograph is lowered. I also plan on making an Aero 3, as well as a custom engine sound for it, because the one that's on the download station doesn't work on Trainz 12. I'll try to make one that's compatible with this game. I also want to make a new Acela Express that can take passengers, and that has operating doors that doesn't depend on the pantograph script, because obviously there's a problem when the doors on both sides can open. Also, I'll try to make it so that digital speedometer actually works on this cab, and that the cab signal actually works. As soon as I can figure out how to do that. And maybe I'll even add a windshield wiper script so that if it rains, the windshield wipers come on automatically. Also, I'm probably not the only one that noticed this, but there is no Cafe Acela on this game yet, so I try to make one for this game as well. And of course make it so you can put passengers inside the train. I also want to install directional headlights because the one in this game doesn't have those. Also, bi-level cars. I like the ones that are already on this game. The problem is they lack low-level and high-level doors. They only have low-level ones, and the doors are in the wrong location. The logo is also in the wrong location. So I'd like to make a new one that addresses those issues. Oh yeah, I forgot to explain how the doors would be able to tell whether you're on a high-level platform or a low-level platform. The way I hope it'll work, if I can figure out how to script it this way, I'll have it so that if it passes a trigger and the name of the trigger is high, then it'll open up only the high-level doors when you stop at a station. Either if it's at an industry-enabled station, or if you use the opening door command, and it'll keep opening only those doors until it passes another trigger that has a different name, like low for low-level doors. If it says low, it'll only open the low-level doors, or if the doors have a high-level and low-level ability, it'll use the low-level ability as well. Or at least that's the plan. AirTrain Newark monorails. And fleet cars that have opening and closing doors, and you can put passengers in them. I also want to create drivable New Jersey Transit and MTA buses with programmable destination signs, and possibly a windshield wiper windshield wiper script. Not a glitch. That's definitely not something you want on it. Also, I'll program it so that the doors can open and close, of course, like an ordinary passenger train on this game. And I'll make it so that you can actually have a stop request sound, which will probably be operated by a trigger as well. I also want to create programmable buildings like lighthouses that actually light up at night and can be seen from the same distance the real one can be seen. Because lighthouses on this game, you can't even really see the lights from that far away, sadly. So I'd like to make one that can be seen from far away. Also, since no one's made one of these for the game yet, looks like I'm going to have to make one. The Freedom Tower. I almost forgot to mention, but these locomotives and the cab cars will also have strobe lamps, and they will flash automatically when traveling, I guess, towards a station or maybe at a certain speed. The ditch lights will flash when you press the bell button, if I can figure out how to make it do that. And they'll also flash automatically after it hits an ATLS trigger, so it'll automatically do that for railroad crossings as well. And of course they will also tilt around curves. And I plan on giving each locomotive I create a custom cab with working, well, basically I want all the buttons to work, or at least all the ones I can figure out how they work. And I definitely want them to have working cab signals that can tell you the what the next signal is automatically. I also want to create scripted subway stations that light up during the day and the night and are bright on the inside, unlike the ones that are on this game that are dark on the inside at night. And I also want to allow them to have certain announcements like the next downtown local train is 1 station away and stuff like that you sometimes hear at the station. And I want to create scripted subway cars that can actually tell which station this is and actually give an announcement for it. Well, that's all I can think of for now. Maybe I'll try to create other stuff later as well.